Hey, how are you guys doing? So I wanted to do something where, something simple, easy, and it's just gonna take a part of a quiz. I've seen this float around here and there, and that's of course for a bunch of other shows where they tell you, answer a bunch of these questions to see which character you are from, I don't know, like whatever show you might watch. And so I figured, there are stuff like this for Love Live, right? So, there might be other ones out there, but this is just one of the first ones I found, and if you guys have other ones that you think might be interesting or better, of course, let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I will take them in the future. But for right now, this is the one I found here, and this is going to be asking, what Love Live girl are you? So from what I can tell, this has got Muse, Aqours, and Nijigaku included into it, and there's not one for Liella. At least that's what I can read from the description, but it looks like there's 20 questions here, and I'll answer them to, of course, to me, with how I would answer them. And then, you guys can go ahead and participate too, and let me know in the comments what you get. And if you are watching this in real time, let me know what do you think I would be from this. What are your guesses, and you'll see if you're right. So I'm gonna go through every question and explain why I would vote a certain way. It's just how I am. I'm sure there's plenty of you who will vote differently, but that's no biggie, just curious to see. So if you guys want to participate, I'll give you a link in the description for this if you want to participate. And I was trying to figure out beforehand, what Love Live girl am I? Well, definitely not a girl, but personality wise, I remember if out of Muse, the most likely was Umi, from what from my knowledge. I think I'd taken a few before and I was right, it was Umi, but she's definitely more responsible and definitely likes to apply more logic in her reasoning. That's why I felt like that's who I felt like I was the most related to. But when you expand this even further, it becomes a more difficult question with a whole lot more girls there. I would love to be Setsuna. I love playing video games. But I don't know if that. I don't think I'm as spunky or as much as her. She's definitely a little bit more outgoing than I would say. And I don't know if I'm exactly as cheery and bright as her. So I don't know if that necessarily means I would be like her. So I still think Umi might not be a bad pick for me. So I might go with that. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. So let's go ahead and start with the first question. You tend to take care of others' needs. Me, personally, yes, I would say someone agree. I'm not like Kanata probably goes way out of their way to take care of someone. Especially if it really inconveniences me. I probably would say I'd rather not unless I really need to. I don't mind helping out people, especially if they need some help and I'm one of the people who can really help them out. That's fine. I don't mind doing things here and there, but I don't think I would be self-sacrifice, like crazy amount of self-sacrificing. So I'm going to go with someone agree for this one. Yeah, you have hunches about the future that usually end up being correct. I guess yes. But I don't see myself as like a psychic. I would often look at events and have predictions and see how they go. And I'm usually right. Whether it can be sports or how I felt like some companies might be growing depending on what they are doing. But there are times when I am wrong. There's upset in sports. And I understand it says usually end up being correct. So I guess I can go with agree. There's definitely times when I am wrong, and I always like thinking of predicting of what might happen in a certain situation, maybe in a social situation, but I'm usually probably wrong in those situations. So generally when I think logic can be applied, I can generally be right, but beyond that, not so much. Now let's just go to someone agree. Let's be safe on that one. When making a decision, which of these are you most likely to do? I figure out what would make the most logical sense. That's generally me. I would think about how it would affect others first. that's probably not what I would think first. Try to do what works most efficiently and make decisions based on my own feelings and values. Well, in general, when it comes to a situation, I usually like thinking of the most practical solution, thing that makes the most sense. There are other things that comes afterwards, but not necessarily they would be the priority. I would consider efficiency, but efficiency doesn't matter if it doesn't really work or it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's great if you're able to make it so it affects others. You know, you're able to make it the best for that situation. But again, if you're sacrificing function, does that really help then? So I honestly probably gonna have to go with the most logical sense. Which of these fit you the best? I tend to focus on meanings. I tend to visualize possibilities. I tend to observe details. I tend to live in the here and now. I don't think the bottom one. Observe details, visualize possibilities, focus on meanings. I don't know. I guess I do a little bit of both, but visualize possibilities? I mean, it's not like you can only do one and not the others. It's a little confusing. You tend to reevaluate data if it doesn't fit with your internal understanding. Oh yes. If I don't understand it, I'm going to keep evaluating until hopefully I understand it. Or I guess if it's school, probably not. I just give up. But yes, I would like to try to understand things here. Determine success by measurement or other objectives such as time taken. Yeah, I do that. When I like determining success, usually I like to know like how successful, because that is how you can determine success. You might say like, oh, I successfully improved my PR in maybe in a race, but I improved my PR by 1 second, and I'm like, well, great, but that's like a 0.01% improvement. Is that much? Not really. So, yes, I definitely want to measure success, because there are varying low success, and a slight success is not that important and very unsubstantial compared to big successes. Amazing sense of direction. Yeah, I've been always better than the people around me. When I was younger, my parents usually deferred to me to remember where to go, or you know, some examples, like we would go to like Disney World, and we would park, and then we would come back a few days later. But when we come back a few days later, we had to remember where did we park, and there were a lot of cars parked in Disney World. And I was usually the one who was able to remember where that was. Whether, you know, like, oh, it's like the orange 18 or whatever. I don't remember, obviously. I haven't been there in a long time. So I don't really remember how they organized it. And I'm usually the one who could remember approximately where. Whether that's kind of from almost kind of like muscle memory, where like you walk in, there's like, well, I remember we walked this way and that way, or I kind of remember that, or it feels is about right here. So usually I feel like I have a pretty good sense of direction. You greatly value your personal feelings and beliefs. I don't know, honestly, to be honest. Yeah, I have personal feelings and beliefs, but I probably value other people's feelings and beliefs as a whole more than mine, because I feel if, you know, I can get my selfish ways and, you know, there's things that I want, but if that comes at the cost of many others, I feel like then I should go with what they have. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go disagree, honestly. You're excellent at coming with new ideas. Yeah, I mean, as someone who's been young, you know, I always love to be creative and creating new stuff, you know, like with Legos and toys, or trying to make some little programs or games or something when I was younger. That's something I love doing. I like trying to be creative and creating new ideas, so that's kind of true in my identity. You tend to think back to the past to help understand the present. Yeah, I guess I do. Trying, because oftentimes when you try to think of how someone might behave in a certain way, think, well, why did they come to that decision? And you often think, well, if I go to the past and see the circumstances they are in, that will help. Especially in things like in more recent events and world events, you had to think, well, like why is Russia, for example, invading Ukraine? You will have to think about the previous events that might lead to that. You got to learn from history. So, yeah, honestly, I think that's got to be a agree for me. Which sounds most like you? I'm great at analyzing a problem and coming up with my own logical answer. I just get distracted switching one to... No, that's not me. I'm good at following a definition and taking in facts objectively. Maybe? I often experience premonitions and know that something's going to happen. No? Not really. I don't think that's true. I tend to hide my true emotions and take on feelings of others. Nah, I don't really do that. I tend to take risks and enjoy new experiences. I'm not really a big fan of risks, to be honest. Sometimes being safe feels nice. I'm good at making decisions based on what feels like the best choice for me. I don't know if I'm good at that. I have a great memory, and I'm able to recognize details. I don't know if I have a great memory. I feel like I can remember stupid things that don't matter well, but try to things that do matter. Sometimes it doesn't happen, especially like for tests. There's things I forgot that I was studying like 10 minutes ago, and see that test, and boom, everything's gone from my brain. I'm just gonna go with the top one. Do you view the world internally or externally? What does that mean? Do I view the world internally or externally? Like that, do I view the world based on emotions and feelings versus what I see and feel? What does that exactly mean? Internally? I'm not sure about that. You often use your 5 senses to experience life. I mean, I'm not blind or anything, so or mute or whatever. Yeah? I mean, the 5 senses of what? Sight, touch, hear, smell, taste? Yes? What? You enjoy reliving the past. Yeah, I do. I know, being stuck in the past, but there are a lot of times where you like to think about the happy memories, and you know, it always makes you feel good. Especially when you're not in all those happy moments. So, I mean, who doesn't like being happy, right? You get easily offended when someone disagrees with you. No, I absolutely not. I fully understand that there are people from different circumstances that have different situations and have different opinions. And you know, that's kind of a lot of basis of a lot of things I do on this channel. I ask you guys to do polls. And you know, I might say, well, Maki's my favorite Muse character, but you know, if you like Nico or Hino, that's great. I don't care. And I think it's interesting how people have different opinions. And you know, I take in those opinions and see if that changes my opinions, because I don't think I always necessarily have the best answer for everything. So no, I don't get offended by that at all. I, in fact, encourage discussion and, you know, trying to have people explain why they feel that way, but I don't think there's any room for being offended by that. And I don't think you should be. You're in tune with other people's feelings and emotions. I try to, but I don't know if I truly am. Let's go with someone agree, I guess. You're drawn towards the abstract and often obsess over meanings. Don't think so. I mean, the abstract is kind of... A lot of times when I think about abstract, you know, like especially like abstract art, I find it just stupid, to be honest. People are trying to put meanings in things that don't necessarily always have meanings. Or at least that's how sometimes it feels. And great and all, but I don't care. So I'm just gonna say no for that. You see the world as a bundle of possibilities waiting to be explored. I don't, but I mean, it can be. There's plenty of things you can do out there, but I don't personally see it necessarily being a bundle of possibilities. I mean, there are opportunities out there. And, you know, they're out there if you're willing to go for it. I'm just going to go neutral with that. You take knowledge and information from the outside. Yes. I don't know what else to say to that. You come up with the internal logic frameworks, theories, and systems to describe the world around you. Yes. I guess let's see what I got. Kanata, cool. I'm not sure why. I like Kanata, she's definitely one of my favorites from Nijigaku. But I don't really see myself, because like, Kanata's like, kind of like the mother of Niji. She takes care for a bunch of other people. She sleeps a lot. I mean, sleeping's great and all. And I love her songs. Just don't know how I'm quite like her. Let's see. So, my answers, I was most like Kanata, Ayumu Haneo, Ruby, Mari, Johanna, and... Really? I'm least like Yo and I and Kasumi and Rin. Not a lot of people are like Rin, Daya, Emma. Where do I fall in this chart then? Kanata's just the most popular? That's interesting. I don't know. Anyways, that was definitely an interesting exercise, and I'm curious to see what you guys got in the comments below. I'm sure some of you just jumped straight to the results, sure. But, you know, if you took part of this quiz, I'm curious to see where you guys fall on this. Where you not agree or disagree. For me, I don't know. I'm happy with the results, don't get me wrong. But I don't know if that's fair. I don't know. I'll just accept it and move on. Anyways, let me know what you guys got in the comments below, and sure, we can try do more of these. Maybe we can do an actual quiz where I test my horrendous knowledge of Love Live, and they'll ask me all the questions about stuff that I had no idea, and I'll be disappointed myself. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in another video soon.